Okay, have you ever had this happen? You start thinking about buying a specific car, say maybe a red Tesla, just hypothetically, and then boom, suddenly you see them everywhere, like on your way to work, parked outside the supermarket, just everywhere. It feels kind of strange, right? Like magic or some weird
Ah,
coincidence.
yes. That feeling. It's pretty universal,
Well,
actually.
turns out it's not just chance. There's a name for it. Author Hector J. Arencibia calls it the red Tesla effect.
That's right. A great name for it.
And today, that's what we're diving into. We're going deep into the science and maybe even a little bit of the spirit behind this whole thing, our mission. To unpack how your brain's amazing filter, the reticular activating system, the RAS, shapes what you notice and, kind of surprisingly, what you actually experience.
It's a fascinating intersection of neuroscience and, well, maybe something a little more.
Exactly. So by the end of this, you'll get what the RAS is, how it molds your perception, and here's the kicker, how you can intentionally, use it, how you can activate it to bring more of what you actually want into your life.
Get ready for some aha moments, I think.
I think so too. This really shows how we can be co-creators in our own world. So let's start there. This red Tesla effect. What exactly did Hector Arencibia mean by that?
Well, it's a playful term, but it points to something pretty profound. It's that moment, that eye-opening thing when you suddenly start noticing something that, honestly, has probably always been there. It's
Yeah.
just that now your mind is tuned into it,
Ah,
like the classic new car syndrome, right?
oh, yeah, totally. You decide on a specific model.
And suddenly that car is everywhere. It's not like more of them suddenly appeared on the road. It's your perception that shifted dramatically.
Okay, so it really boils down to our thoughts directing our awareness, like physically.
Precisely, yeah. By focusing your attention consciously thinking about that red Tesla,
Yeah.
you're basically sending a memo to your brain. You're saying, hey, this image, this is important now.
And the brain just listens.
It dutifully complies. It starts highlighting every single red Tesla that enters your field of awareness. So, yeah, it can feel mystical, like you somehow attracted them. But really, at its core, it's neuroscience meeting your conscious intention.
Mm.
And Arencibia's point, I think, is to make us wonder, if we can light up all the red cars just by thinking about them, what else could we illuminate? What else could we maybe manifest with the right kind of focus?
All right. It's like that saying.
We don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. This effect really brings that home. It bridges that almost spiritual feeling of ask and you shall receive with the actual biology making it happen.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. Let's talk mechanics. This reticular activating system, the RAS, what is this neurocytological powerhouse actually doing in there?
Right, so picture this. Your brain is just constantly bombarded with information, sensory input, like up to 11 million bits of information every second. It's overwhelming.
Wow, 11 million.
Yeah, it's a flood. But your conscious mind, it can only really handle maybe 40 or 50 bits at a time. Tiny fraction.
So something has to filter it.
Exactly. That's the RAS. It's a network of neurons, kind of like a bundle deep in your brainstem. And it acts as this incredibly sophisticated gatekeeper. It decides what tiny slice of that massive input is important enough to make it through to your conscious awareness.
It's like a bouncer for your brain.
Wow. Yeah, kind of like that. Or a personal assistant constantly asking, is this relevant? Do you need to see this? How about this?
So how does it decide what makes something relevant enough to get past the velvet rope?
Good question. It learns what's relevant based on what you've trained it to value. Things like repetition, strong emotions attached to something, or just the sheer importance you've consciously placed on certain thoughts or goals.
Okay, give me an example.
Think about being in a really noisy party, lots of chatter, but then someone across the room says your name.
And your head snaps up instantly.
Right. Or maybe a word you've just learned, or something you're worried about or excited about, like Tesla. Your ears just perk up. That's your RAS in action, plucking that one relevant signal out of all the noise.
Or learning a new word and then suddenly hearing it everywhere.
Exactly. Or a friend mentions some obscure song, and then you hear it on 3 different radio stations the next day. The RAS is why we get that feeling of when it rains, it pours in our awareness. Once something is flagged as important, we see it constantly. Biologically, it also has basic jobs like helping regulate sleep and wakefulness, keeping you alert. But its most fascinating role, for our purposes, is being that switchboard, connecting your conscious goals with your subconscious observation powers.
So it takes orders from the conscious mind.
Pretty much. Neurologist Prasanna Tati describes it as ultimately responsible for attention and the ability to focus. Your conscious mind says, this matters to me. maybe by setting a goal or worrying about something, and the RAS takes that instruction and tells your subconscious, okay, scan the environment for matches to this.
Wow, it's like having a personalized search engine running 204/7 in your head.
That's a great way to put it, constantly indexing the world for hits based on what you're dwelling on. David Allen, in Getting Things Done, he put it simply, the brain is programmed by what we focus on.
So Arencibia's red Tesla effect,
Yeah.
it's pointing right at this mechanism.
Directly. Focus on a red Tesla, your RAS gets programmed to find red Teslas, and it dutifully sifts through all the incoming data and presents them to your conscious mind. It's just neurobiology doing its job, but the result feels utterly magical, like synchronicity.
Okay, so if it's filtering everything based on our focus and beliefs,
Mhm.
what does that actually mean for us day to day? How does this shape our reality?
Well, it's huge, because the RAS doesn't just influence what you notice, it fundamentally shapes your entire experience of reality. Think about it. Our brains don't just passively receive the world, they actively construct our perceived world. And they do that by filtering in data that aligns with our internal state, our beliefs, our expectations, our mood.
So it finds proof for what we already think.
Precisely. Jane Fuller, personal development author, puts it this way. The RAS seeks data that validates your beliefs. She says, it screens the world through the parameters you give it, and your beliefs form those parameters.
So it's basically confirmation bias built right into our brain.
Exactly. It's the ultimate confirmation bias machine, hardwired in. Like Greg Braden says, you tend to find evidence of what you believe. Your brain literally makes sure of it. And, this can be incredibly empowering, but also kind of frightening, depending on the beliefs.
How so?
Well, on the one hand, if you have a negative filter, if you deeply believe, say, I'm not good enough or nothing ever works out for me, your RAS will diligently scan your world and highlight every tiny slight, every mistake, every piece of evidence that confirms those fears. It locks you into a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Like Napoleon Hill said, fears are nothing more than a state of mind. But the RAS makes that state of mind feel very, very real.
It does, but here's the empowering part.
Okay.
Once you're aware of the system, you realize you have some control. You can consciously direct it.
Towards more positive stuff.
Absolutely. If you intentionally shift your focus consciously, look for opportunities, practice gratitude, focus on growth and solutions, your RAS will start spotlighting those things. It'll find the synchronicities, the silver linings, the potential solutions that were probably there all along, but hidden in the noise.
So the world itself doesn't magically change overnight.
You change. Your internal focus changes, and therefore your experience of the world shifts. Hector J makes a great point. The RAS isn't judgmental. It doesn't care what you tell it to look for. It just follows your lead. So if you program it with, like, good things are coming my way, or I notice opportunities easily, your brain's filter will start revealing examples of that, things that were previously just background static.
So again, we don't see things as they are, we see them as we are.
That really sums it up, doesn't it?
It does, and it sounds like the biological basis for that whole idea that your thoughts create your reality. For listeners who might be a bit skeptical, how is this different from just, wishful thinking? Where's the science link?
That's a really important distinction. It's not just wishing. Modern neuroscience confirms this. Studies show the RAS helps you see what you would like to see, and in doing this, influences your actions. And it's the actions that create the change.
Ah, okay. So the RAS shows you the door, but you still have to walk through it.
Exactly. This makes the RAS, or the red Tesla effect, sort of the engine at the heart of a very grounded manifestation process. Think about setting a clear goal, like launching a new business. You focus on it intently, and then suddenly these coincidences start happening, right? You bump into someone who could be a key partner, you stumble across the perfect article with the info you needed, a funding opportunity just lands in your inbox.
Yeah, that happens.
Those resources, those people, those opportunities, they were likely around before. But now, because you set that clear intention, your mind is attuned. Your RAS spots them. It's like Tony Robbins says, where focus goes, energy flows. That clarity of focus literally engages your brain's filtering assistant to sort reality in your favor. So while it might feel a bit like the law of attraction, the RAS gives us a more nuanced picture. Your brain is actively searching for and drawing your attention to whatever matches your dominant thoughts and feelings.
So it's not some mysterious external force just handing you stuff.
No, it's your own powerful internal system actively seeking it out based on your instructions. Arencibia's red Tesla effect really captures that uncanny as if by magic quality, but it grounds it firmly in neuropsychology. Attention, focus.
You're both the magnet and the magician, in a way.
Output. Yeah.
Okay, so is this red Tesla effect just positive thinking dressed up in a lab coat? Or is there something more to it? You mentioned feelings earlier.
Ah, yes. It's definitely more than just thinking positive thoughts. It's more like a synergy, a blend of that mental focus with a certain internal emotional state, mind and heart working together.
Okay.
And this is where we touch on ideas often discussed in spiritual or metaphysical circles, things like energy, frequency, vibration. When Hector Arencibia talks about focus and frequency, he's echoing what many teachers say.
Hmm.
It's not just what you focus on, but the energy you bring to it, the emotional state, the vibration, if you like that term. That combination determines what your RAS prioritizes and therefore what shows up in your experience.
So it's not just the thought, I want a new job, but the feeling behind it.
Exactly. And this lines up beautifully with Dr. Joe Dispenza's work on brain-heart coherence. He talks about when your mind's intentions, the clear thought, and your heart's emotions, elevated feelings like joy, gratitude, love, are vibrating in unison or are coherent. You're essentially, in his words, installing the neurological hardware that mirrors the reality you want.
Wow. Installing hardware.
Yeah. Your brain and body start to believe the future experience is happening now. And your RAS, picking up on both the mental images and those strong emotional signals, starts scanning your environment for matches. Anything that resonates with that combined state. Like Dr. Joe says, where you place your attention is where you place your energy.
So if my attention, my focus is on abundance.
And your energy, your emotion, is tuned to gratitude, joy, feeling abundant now.
Then I'm sending a really clear signal.
A very clear, very powerful signal. And your RAS locks onto external inputs that match that signal. It starts noticing abundance everywhere.
Okay, so let me try an analogy. Focus is like the direction you point the flashlight.
Yeah.
And frequency, or the emotion, is like the color or the intensity of the light beam.
Oh, that's an excellent analogy. I like that. Yes. So using your analogy, if you set a goal, say, grow your client base, that's your focus, the direction. But if you're secretly feeling fear, doubt, anxiety, that's like a dim, flickering, maybe muddy-colored light, a low-frequency state, your RAS might actually pick up on signals that confirm those fears. You might notice obstacles more.
That if you flip that.
Conversely, yeah. If you cultivate that high-frequency state, genuine enthusiasm, confidence, gratitude, while holding that focus, you're sending out a bright, clear, powerful beam. You're supercharging the RAS to seek out positive matches, opportunities, receptive clients.
You mentioned gratitude there. Why is that one so potent?
Gratitude. It seems to be like rocket fuel for the RAS. When you genuinely feel grateful, even for small things, you're sending a powerful message to your brain. More of this, please. This feels good. Find more things that feel like this. As one newsletter, The Universe Unveiled, puts it, when you are grateful, you are directing your focus toward what is working, what is abundant. You are telling your RAS, this matters. Find more of this. Gratitude seems to carry this powerful emotional signature, this frequency, that aligns you with the feeling of abundance. It tunes your inner radio, to the abundance channel. Makes your RAS super receptive to noticing good things.
So it's not just being polite, it's actively programming your perception.
In a very real way, yes.
Yeah.
Even very pragmatic teachers like Tony Robbins or Brian Tracy, they hammer this point. Intense clarity of focus combined with strong positive emotion. Tracy actually calls the RAS the compass of your consciousness.
Compass, I like that too.
And then you circle back to Hector Arencibia, the red Tesla effect. It beautifully reminds us that these profound, almost mystical feeling experiences, they often have a scientific basis.
Yeah.
And science itself can lead to these empowering, almost spiritual realizations about our own minds.
It really is empowerment through understanding, isn't it?
Totally. When you grasp that your perception isn't fixed, that it's malleable, that it responds directly to your inner world, you can't help but step into that role of co-creator. It's incredibly empowering.
Okay, this is all incredibly powerful stuff, and it sounds actionable. So for everyone listening, how do we intentionally apply this? How do we start driving our own mental Tesla, so to speak?
Right. Let's get practical. Think of it exactly like that learning to drive your mind's Tesla. You need to steer your focus, manage your internal state, your emotions, your frequency, so that your brain's autopilot, the RAS, takes you where you actually want to go. So here are maybe 5 key steps, practical things you can do.
Okay, lay them on us. Step 1.
Step 1, set a clear intention. You have to become the boss of your brain's filter. Clarity is everything. Remember, the RAS is like a goal-seeking missile. It needs a precise target. Vague wishes just won't cut it.
So no, I hope I can maybe.
Exactly. No, I want to, or I hope.
Huh.
Instead, use decisive language. Declare, I intend to achieve X. NLP trainers Chris and Tim Halbaum point out that the word intend literally means to direct the mind toward a goal. It signals purpose. There was even a University of Minnesota finding suggesting that just changing your language to I intend can help kick the RAS into high gear because it removes that internal wobble, that doubt.
To define the goal sharply, write it down. Be definite.
Yes, be unequivocal. This sends that crystal clear signal to your RAS. This is the target. Look for this.
Got it. Clear intention first. What's next? Like setting the GPS.
Perfect analogy. Step 2. Visualize the outcome vividly. You need to tell your brain a story it can't ignore. The RAS responds incredibly well to images, especially sensory-rich ones.
Yeah.
So create a compelling mental movie of your desired reality. See it as if it's happening right now. Fill in the details. See that red Tesla in the driveway. Feel the handshake after closing the big deal. Hear the applause.
Engage all the senses.
All of them. What do you hear? Smell. Feel on your skin. The more vivid, the better. Because here's the thing. Your RAS, and your brain in general, often doesn't clearly distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one.
So you're pre-programming it.
Exactly. You're strengthening the focus, and you're creating a kind of memory of the future event. This primes your perception, makes your RAS hyper-attuned to finding signals in the real world that match that inner movie.
Like athletes do.
Top athletes use this constantly. Hector Arencibia suggests making it fun, like a joyful game. Daydreaming, but with serious intent. Replay that mental movie often, especially maybe first thing in the morning or right before sleep times when your mind is more receptive. Make it feel real in your mind.
Okay, vivid visualization. That primes the brain. But you said earlier it's not just about thoughts. Emotions are key. How does that fit in?
Yes. That brings us straight to step 3. Align your emotions. You need to match your frequency to your focus. Remember, emotions are like significance flags for your subconscious. They tell your RAS, pay attention. This matters.
So while I'm visualizing...
Yes, while you're running that mental movie, consciously conjure the positive emotions you would feel if that vision were already real. Feel the pride, the excitement, the relief, the joy, the gratitude. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research, again, really highlights this. Elevated emotions like love, joy, gratitude, when paired with that clear intention, they create a powerful neurochemical signature. It's a signal the RAS can then actively seek out externally. You're basically broadcasting an internal state. Bring me more experiences that make me feel this way.
And gratitude is a big one here.
Gratitude is huge because it's the feeling of already having the blessing. It signals to your brain that the reward is real, reinforcing the search pattern. So spend a minute or two really marinating in that feeling. Use present tense affirmations that evoke the emotion. The key is to authentically generate that uplifting feeling. That elevated energy literally tunes your RAS dial to the right station. It's not just thinking happy thoughts, it's attaching deep emotional significance.
Wow. Okay, intention, visualization, and emotion. That feels like a powerful internal combination. But sometimes people seem to stop there, right? What's missing?
That's a crucial observation. And it leads us to step 4, which is absolutely vital. Take conscious action. You have to follow the trail of breadcrumbs. Lots of people get stuck at the visualizing and feeling stage. But action is the catalyst. It's what converts those internal possibilities into external reality.
The RAS shows you the opportunities.
But you have to grab them. You have to act. Without action, even the most perfectly programmed RAS can only show you signposts. It can't walk the path for you.
So when you notice something, that networking event pops up, someone recommends a book, you get an idea for a new skill.
Act on it. Don't just notice it and go, oh, that's interesting. Follow through. These are the breadcrumbs your RAS is highlighting, leading you towards your goal. Jane Fuller has a great point here, too. She says the opportunities the RAS shows you are often relative to your efforts. It might not show you the huge breakthrough right away. You have to follow the smaller leads first. Take those initial steps. And then, she says, once you start working, the big opportunity will be revealed.
So you have to meet your RAS halfway.
Exactly. It opens the doors, you have to walk through them. And this creates a powerful feedback loop. Each action you take confirms the importance of the goal to your RAS, sharpening its filter even further.
Okay, action is key. It's a dynamic process, which makes sense, especially if you're trying to build a new habit or mindset. What's the final piece to make it all stick?
The 5th and final step is essential for long-term change. Reprogram and repeat. Make it a daily practice. Your RAS, like the rest of your brain, learns through repetition and consistency. To really embed a new goal or a new way of seeing things, you need to remind your brain about it regularly.
So don't just do the visualization once.
No, definitely not. Daily practice is key. Even just 5 or 10 minutes of visualization or reviewing your intentions or feeling that gratitude, it continually hammers home that message. This is important. Bring me more of this.
Yeah.
Keep your goals visible somewhere. Read them aloud daily. Consistency really is like watering a plant. It nourishes those neural pathways.
And what if you slip up, start worrying or focusing on the negative?
Gently pivot back. Notice it without judgment, and then consciously redirect your focus to what you do want. Think of it as training a mental muscle. It takes practice. Over time, with consistency, your RAS's default filter genuinely shifts. Your goals become the automatic setting. So, maintain that gratitude practice. Maybe journal about what's going right. Periodically review and update your intentions. Repetition truly is the key to reprogramming your RAS for the positive outcomes you desire.
Wow, so clear intention, vivid visualization, aligned emotion, conscious action, and consistent repetition. That's quite a roadmap.
It is. It puts the steering wheel firmly back in your hands.
This whole red Tesla effect, it really does feel like it's ultimately a story about our own potential, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It shifts the perspective from being just a passive observer of life, subject to random chance, to being an active participant, someone who's actually shaping their world moment by moment through where they place their awareness.
When you consciously guide your RAS, life feels less like a series of accidents.
And more like, yeah, like a canvas that you're actively painting with your focus and your feelings.
Hector Arencibia's metaphor is perfect. You are the driver of your mind's Tesla. Once you understand how it works, you really can steer it anywhere you choose.
That initial experience, seeing all those red Teslas everywhere, it might have felt external, supernatural even, but realizing it was powered by something inside you all along, that's the real magic.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What else in your life could shift if you applied that same focused attention, that same belief?
Exactly. Maybe you'll start seeing those business opportunities we talked about. Or maybe you'll start noticing positive qualities in your relationships more often. Or you'll discover those synchronistic encounters, meeting the right mentor, stumbling upon the perfect idea, things that seem to come out of nowhere.
But really, they come because you programmed your internal search engine, your RAS, to look for them.
Precisely.
It's such a fascinating blend, this red Tesla effect. It marries the hard science of neurobiology with this almost mystical sense of personal experience and creation.
It really is a beautiful dance, isn't it? Knowing that your brain has this billion system ready to seek whatever you prioritize, and combining that with the empowering, maybe even spiritual realization that your inner state, your thoughts, your feelings, your focus is literally casting the mold for your outer reality.
It definitely puts you firmly in the role of co-creator. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
So, as you listening, step back into your day after this deep dive. Maybe just take a moment. Notice what's grabbing your attention right now. Is it stuff that serves your highest good? Or is it maybe remnants of old patterns, old filters?
And remember, you have the power to recalibrate that focus anytime.
So maybe experiment a little. Play with it. Try focusing intentionally on something uplifting, something you want more of. Set a clear intention, visualize it, feel the feelings, watch for those little coincidences, those breadcrumbs.
And definitely practice that gratitude. Gather your own evidence. See for yourself how what you consistently hold in your mind and heart starts to show up in your world.
Because you really are the one behind the wheel. Your RAS is your incredibly powerful navigation system just waiting for instructions.
Where will you direct it next?
The road ahead. It truly is as open as your mind believes it to be. So go ahead. Set your sights on that red Tesla in your life, whatever it may be.
Press that mental accelerator.
And watch with curiosity and maybe a little bit of awe as the world around you starts to reconfigure in response. Your journey as a conscious co-creator, it's just beginning.